Good for you up there. There ain't nothing up there. So, find your own, be able to get your own water, be able to drill it or whatever. There's a lot of barren areas, but the problem is there's no water either, and so you're going to have some kind of capability of getting a hold of water. But the Lord can lead you to that too. When I was in northern New Mexico, we drove by a whole little town that had just been left abandoned. Maybe about 50 houses there, and just abandoned. People had left them. That's these kind of places that you can go stumble on during the tribulation period when you need places to hide. In Utah, they have these canyons that are out there, and they have these little towns in these canyons. They're little tourist areas. They'll just, you'll see mostly motels and little stores and stuff like that. Those would be great places to go to too. So think of the high and the dry. The high places and the dry places. I mean, when I went through Kansas, throwing Oregon for 10, 12 miserable hours, I mean, Kansas is the state that never ends, and there's nothing to see. There's nothing to look at. I asked the Lord why I had to do it, and I guess because nobody else would. Nobody else is going to spend 12 hours going through Kansas for no apparent reason, placing Oregon throughout the areas. But that's the point. Get where you don't, the high and the dry places, because they won't come looking for you there. The cities are going to be chaos. And the Lord will protect you in the high and the dry places. Remember, you've read Israel's stories of Israel being at war, and when the Lord lifted the veil, you could see chariots of fire, the Lord's angels of chariots surrounding his people of Israel, fighting with them and also protecting them. And so, don't always underestimate what you think or don't think the Lord is doing, because he can protect you, and he will. He has told us he will protect us. The Church of Philadelphia will be protected during that time, and that's a symbolic Church of Philadelphia, as opposed to the real short-minded people in Philadelphia that thinks it's a literal church in Philadelphia. It's symbolic that he will protect his people that are faithful and obedient to him during the time of tribulation hour. Last question from a listener: does Oregon break down, or is it long-lasting? It's long-lasting, and it never stops producing. Once it's made, it's automated. It's an automation tool. It just keeps going on and on and on and on. It will beat the Energizer Bunny. It will never stop. It's an automation. It continually produces and automates the specific type of energy that defeats and destroys evil. And so once it's made, it just always produces. And that's why, I've mailed it to government people all over the place who have bought it and asked for it. And even if they threw it out, it would just end up in a trash bin somewhere and off to a landfill. And so be it. Now it's buried. It's still going to work. It always works. And so you can't destroy it. You can't destroy it. And so it's awesome. We'll see the full effects of it once all this evil is here, because Oregon doesn't bother humans. Good Oregon doesn't bother humans. But when Satan arrives and his forces, these pure evil beings, it's going to bother them. And so that's where we'll take great joy in watching them fall one by one. The movie Mist was based on events from Montauk, Long Island, and the gate they opened. Okay, so this guy's saying it's from Montauk. Not particularly the Euphrates and Locust Invasion, but hey, you never know. Sounds like a good comparison to me. Question from a listener: if you can warn all reptilians in Los Angeles that they are going to start to burn soon, Oregon and all of Los Angeles County is going to strike fear into evil. Their underground lair won't be used once. I infiltrate these underground tunnels and deliver good old Oregon energy. They will be after me for good, but in Yeshua's name it can be done. Now bless you and your family. Love your show. I can see God and a sense of humor through you. It is the best. Tell them. Hey, one person can make a huge difference. I know 3 people that destroyed Dulce Base. Took 3 people. 3 warriors, folks. And Dulce Base is empty. It's gone. It's destroyed. Boom. What about Tennessee mountains safe or flooded by hurricane? I don't feel good about Tennessee, folks. The East Coast, a little bit too East Coast for me. Focus on the Ozarks. You don't want to get too close to the East Coast. Just because the West Coast gets hammered first doesn't mean it's not going to come into the East Coast. I wonder if Western Tennessee might be a safe area, lots of caves. Western Tennessee, I would get a better feeling about than Eastern. Stay away from anything Eastern. A lot of caves. The thing about some of these mountains with a lot of these caves, and they've been around forever, I think that in the Ozark Mountains, it's originally the highest point on the earth, something like that. The Ozarks are actually the highest point ever on the earth, or they've survived every known catastrophe other than the flood that man has seen or whatever. There's something special about the Ozarks, and I can't remember what their claim to fame is, but it is significant, and it has something to do about the real high elevation there. And there's tons and tons of caves in Missouri and Arkansas, the northern half of Arkansas. And the northern half and the southern half of Arkansas are like night and day. You want to get in the northern half, the northwestern half, because the northeastern half's a little too close to that Mississippi River. And if the Mississippi River should spread and divide because of the coming earthquakes, then it would also affect that northwest or northeast corner of Arkansas. So you don't want to be underwater on the northeast half of Arkansas. So go towards the northwestern part. One of the amusing things is probably where the Satanists are. Because for some reason they know where to go. And we've been going into all these satanic strongholds the last several years and chasing them out. So we can have them. And they've just been loading up in northwest Arkansas and parts of Missouri, Independence, Missouri, and Springfield, Missouri, and a lot of areas in through there. All these Satanists just loading up those areas, and I'll tell you what, we've just marched in all of them. Not all of them. Still need a lot of work out there. Still need warriors to stand up and get areas the Lord's led you to do. But that's a good indication that that's a safe area, because these Satanists seem to know where to go. And so we're just following right behind them and kicking them out. All I gotta do is put a word going around, because they hate it. They hate it. They'll get up moving in the middle of the night, just get away from it. I got some warriors in Illinois chasing Satanists out of communities out there. Warriors in New York City chasing the reptiles out of Manhattan and Times Square. I tell you what, we're having a ball, folks. And not much time left. And so we just need to keep that in mind. Also, just never knowing from month to month what's going to happen if we actually do go to war with Iran. I think it's going to be mostly focused on Iran and Israel at that point, folks. But the thing is, we're going to have a lot of chaos and uproar here in America due to the weather and natural disasters that are coming. Also, forced famine that's coming, people losing their jobs, food prices going up. There's going to be a lot of chaos in the streets because people just can't afford to live anymore. And so America's going to self-destruct from within. And we're going to start seeing some of that. We could start seeing some of that, so watch for that. Until then, folks, then, I guess I've said just about everything the Lord has wanted me to say. Or said it again, and said it again, and said it again, so that maybe next week He'll show me more, tell me more about things that are coming. But I've pretty much said it all, I guess. And so it's been a good night. Until next week, everybody. God bless.